Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the FPL Scope and this video where I'm not only going to show you what I think is currently the template team for Game Week 1 at the moment as it stands right now. I'm also going to talk about some strategies or one particular strategy that I think might become the template strategy as well eventually, but also how you can prepare for that going into that game week 3, which I'm going to talk about later in the video. It'll all make more sense later on in the video, but this is a strategy that I'm currently looking to go for. And I'm going to show you why in this video basically. But first and foremost, let's go through the template team as it stands right now for Game Week 1. Just about. There's some players that are included, like these are some of the most popular players that are included in most squads that I see. In goal, Kelleher seems to be the choice, either him or Sells. I honestly prefer Sells myself, but I think Kelleher is the more commonly used goalkeeper, and Darlow is usually the nice backup goalkeeper for 4.0. You see a lot of defenders for 6.0, a lot of popular ones. Can't really choose between Guardiola, Van Dijk, Cucurella, Gabriel. There's so many different options there. Frimpong as well is pretty highly owned. So there's a lot of different 6.0 defenders. Some people have 2 of them. Some people have 3 even. I've seen that. Some people only have 1. But there are a lot of popular 6.0 defenders. I think Guardiola and Van Dijk will eventually at least be some of the more popular picks. Gabriel is someone that I have. He's also a good pick. I could also go with Frimpong, who's new. Cucurella, I mentioned them all right now. So yeah. 4.5 million defenders. There are also some really good ones. Udogie is in quite a lot of squads, but I just didn't fit him into this squad for some reason. I do think a lot of Konsa has been in a lot of teams that I've seen. Whether you go with Udogie or Konsa is up to you, but personally, I think there might be better options than Konsa especially. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka is super popular as well for good reason. He has good fixtures to start the season. Sunderland away. He's also 4.5 and could both contribute offensively and defensively. When it comes to midfield, Salah and Palmer seem pretty damn nailed in most teams. Kudus and Ndiaye are pretty popular 6.5 million picks. I think between Kudus and Solanke, it's usually either or, but I think most teams have at least one Spurs attacking asset because they are quite cheap. They do have really good fixtures, as we'll get into as well in this video. And I think having one of them, potentially even 2, but most likely one of them is the ideal route to go with. Florian Wirtz as well for 8.5 for the reigning champions at Liverpool. He seems pretty popular for good reason as well. He actually works out pretty well for the strategy that I'm going to talk about in Game Week 3 as well. But yeah, he is a very exciting new player. He's like the new shiny toy, and it makes sense that a lot of people want to have him as well. João Pedro has joined Chelsea. Looks really good in preseason or in the Club World Cup at least. And he's only 7.5, so he has a lot of upside, and that's always tantalizing with João Pedro, like we saw last season, basically. Esteve, or Steve, however you want to pronounce his name, from Burnley. He seems to be a pretty popular 4.0 defender as well currently, for good reason. He was in my own draft that I presented yesterday, so he makes a lot of sense. And then there's always that 4.5 throwaway pick, basically. Like most people don't really want to have 15 viable players. There's always that one pick where you're just hoping that he's going to get some playing time. And I think Krupi Jr. from Krupi Jr. I think is it, or Krupi Jr. or however you pronounce his name, is one of the best 4.5 midfielders or forwards in the game because he could potentially get some playing time for Bournemouth, similar to how Semenyo got some playing time like a couple seasons back when he first joined Bournemouth as well. So yeah, that's someone to look out for. There are some other template picks as well. I did mention Udogie and Gabriel already. I think Elliot Anderson with Nottingham Forest is going to get a lot of steam, especially now. It seems like most content creators are really going into the whole defensive contributions thing and looking at how that can affect points for this season. And Anderson is one of the players that gets a lot of benefit from that. So I think he's going to be, I think it's pretty much inevitable that Anderson's going to be a pick that is going to be really popular in the future. I almost did a Matrix reference there, but I'm going to spare you for that. But anyways, Danny Welbeck as well is also a pretty popular striker. If you want to go a bit cheaper than the 7.5 strikers, then Welbeck is 6.5. You also have Beto, of course, for 5.5, who's also a pretty decent template pick. But yeah, this is pretty much the template squad. I'm going to show you how the template squad looks for the next few game weeks and then illustrate what I think is something that you should consider when you're picking your Game Week 1 squad. And not just follow the template and pick all these players, even though they are all in some way or another good picks mostly. I think most of these guys are good. I'm not quite sold on Ndiaye. I'm not quite sold on Konsa. Kelleher, not so sure about. But yeah, I think all in all, most of these players are really good value, and that's usually what happens when everyone collaborates like we do as a FPL community, basically. But yeah, let's take a look at how this template team will look in Game Week 2 as well. It's a bit more difficult in Game Week 2, as you can see. Spurs have a game away to City. That's really tough. That's the one tough fixture Spurs have in the first like 10 game weeks, just about. So yeah, that's why I wouldn't really be advising anyone to sell their Spurs assets, because after this game week they're going to be really good. But you could do, like, especially if they look really bad in game week 1 and you don't really trust the project for Spurs. They are the team that finished 17th or whatever last season. If they do look really bad, you could potentially load off one of either Kudus or Solanke, or yeah, if you go without both of them, if you could just go with one of them, you could sell that one. But yeah, you could go for someone like Semenyo, who will have played Liverpool in Game Week 1 and will have a pretty good future from Game Week 2 onwards. Or you could also go from Solanke to Wissa if it looks better for him, and if for sure he's going to stay at Brentford as well. That's one of the drawbacks with Wissa, why he's not really someone you can count on for Game Week 1 as of right now, because we don't really know which club he's going to play for either. But yeah, for Game Week 2, not the ideal game week, but that's also because Burnley are playing Sunderland, so we don't really have that many good players playing really bad teams. The one huge drawback to Game Week 2, which we don't have here with this template squad, is Arsenal players, because they play less Leeds at home, which is one of the best fixtures, especially for attacking players. So Saka should definitely be in consideration for you in your Game Week 1 squad, and I think that's going to be even clearer after this video and the tactic that I'm going to outline for you in this video as well. But overall, the team, not the best. A lot of away fixtures. You could play Kudus as well against City and just hope for the best rather than Konsa against Brentford away. I think that's a pretty tough fixture for Konsa as well. But yeah, Salah away to Newcastle, pretty tough fixture. Palmer, a decent captaincy choice against West Ham away. There's not really that many good captaincy choices this week apart from Saka against Leeds at home. So yeah, you can definitely consider having Saka. Currently in my own squad, I have both Palmer and Saka, because I do feel like Saka is going to be really good, especially with the tactic that I'm going to come to pretty soon. So yeah, let's take a look at Game Week 3 as well, which is where it gets a bit interesting. So the team on paper doesn't look too bad. Like, it is pretty good. But you do have one major issue here, and that is Liverpool are playing Arsenal. And yeah, we have Salah, Wirtz, and Van Dijk in this. Sometimes you might go with Gabriel rather than Van Dijk in the template team. Sometimes you might want to go with Saka. But that still remains the case. They are facing each other, Arsenal and Liverpool. That's not ideal. You also see there's no other player apart from Kelleher who plays one of the promoted teams. Keller plays against Sunderland. But then other than that, you don't really have any other like clear-cut, super good fixtures. You have Chelsea against Fulham, which could be a really good fixture. We don't really know how good Fulham are going to be. I think they're going to be a bit better defensively this season than last season. They have Sander Berge from the start of the season integrated into the squad. Joachim Andersen is fully fit to play. I think defensively they're going to be a bit better than what we expect. So I think the Chelsea players won't be as good against them, but it is still a decent fixture on paper at least. You also have the Spurs players against Bournemouth, which is also pretty good on paper, but that is pretty much it for the squad. Like, Konsa against Crystal Palace, not ideal. Ndiaye against Wolves away. Wolves were actually really good last season under Vitor Pereira, and I think people are underrating them as well. So yeah, it's a good team, but it's not an ideal team. And I think the ideal team could be super good as well, as I'll show you pretty soon. So yeah, if you don't know by now, I am sort of angling towards using your free hit in Game Week 3. That's the point of this video, basically. And what I think will be the template strategy, because I think once we get to Game Week 3, you have a bunch of Liverpool or Arsenal players. You don't really have any really good fixtures. I think a lot of people will potentially be tempted to use free hit. But yeah, you could also do transfers. Obviously, at this point, you would have had 2 free transfers because you would have saved your free transfer in Game Week 2 most likely if you stay with the same squad. But that's the problem. There's not really anyone to transfer in at this point either, because yeah, you want players that play against Sunderland, Burnley, and Leeds, but they don't really have good fixtures beyond this point, or yeah, they don't really have good fixtures from this point onwards, as I'll show you in the next screen. So I don't think there's any really good potential transfers there, as I'll show you with the fixtures going forward right now. I'm going to illustrate that with the fixtures going forward. So here you can see the teams ordered by who has the best fixture run from Game Week 4 until Game Week 9. And then we also have the column of which team they play in Game Week 3. So as you can see, the teams that have really good fixtures after Game Week 3 don't really have the best fixtures in Game Week 3. The best fixtures in Game Week 3 are Newcastle against Leeds, Arsenal or Man United against Burnley at home, and Brentford against Sunderland away. And especially if you take into account Game Week 1 and 2 as well for these teams. Newcastle have 2 really difficult games. They have Liverpool in Game Week 2, which is really tough. They have Aston Villa in Game Week 1, which is also really tough. Arsenal, no, not Arsenal. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Man United, also tough fixtures. Arsenal away in the first fixture of the season. Game Week 2 isn't even that good either for Man United. And after that, it's terrible. So these players from Man United and Newcastle, they have some really valuable picks there. They're really good in Game Week 3, but they're not really good before or after Game Week 3. So I think that lends itself really well for a free hit. I think that makes a lot of sense. Brentford as well. They have okay fixtures. They do play Nottingham Forest in the first game week, which is not ideal. And then they have really terrible fixtures after Game Week 3 as well. So again, you don't really want to have Brentford players either long term on your team, but you do want them for Game Week 3. And again, that is the point of the free hit, especially now that we have to use a free hit between Game Week 1 and Game Week 19. We will not be able to use it in a blank game week. We will not be able to use it in a double game week, most likely, unless there's some kind of event that happens. That could always happen, but most likely not. So you need to look for the best ideal game week where you want players for that game week, but you don't want those same players for the game weeks before and after. And I think Game Week 3 is a really good opportunity to look at this. And the other way around, it also works out because you don't want Arsenal and Liverpool players in Game Week 3, but you kind of want to have Arsenal and Liverpool players between Game Week 1 and Game Week 4 at least, because Arsenal do have two really good opening fixtures. They play Leeds at home in Game Week 2. They do have Man United away in Game Week 1. We don't really know how good that fixture is, but it is decent on paper. And I think Arsenal have pretty good fixtures there. They also have Nottingham Forest at home in Game Week 4. Also seems like a decent fixture. And a couple with the Leeds at home fixture in Game Week 2, which is really nice. I think you really want to have some Arsenal players. And if you have Arsenal players, the big drawback is the fact that they play Liverpool in Game Week 3. But if you're free hitting Game Week 3, you don't have to worry about that. So you can pick 2, maybe even 3 Arsenal players. We know Gyökeres is about to join Arsenal. He could be a really nice pick as well for Arsenal, especially if he's looking ready to play from Game Week 1 and especially Game Week 2 when they play Leeds. So you can load up on some Arsenal players that will be very lowly owned because people don't want to have Arsenal because of this Liverpool fixture. And all around, their fixtures aren't that good, apart from like Game Week 2 is really good, but then Game Week 3 is really bad. So it's really tough to bring in Arsenal players if you're not free hitting in Game Week 3. You could do it. Saka is still pretty good, even though you're not free hitting in Game Week 3, but he's so much better if you do have that free hitting in Game Week 3 and you can move him away, basically. So yeah, I think I've sort of made my point here. The fact that like the players you want for Game Week 3 are not players you want before and after Game Week 3. So let's take a look at how good your Game Week 3 squad actually can be if you use your free hit in Game Week 3. I have 2 different alternatives that I'll show you right now. So this is the first alternative. This is considering if Chelsea are really good and Fulham aren't as good, then yeah, you still want those players covered. These are really popular picks in Cucurella, Palmer, and João Pedro, especially if João Pedro looks set to play. If he looks nailed on with the Chelsea team, I think he's really good value at 7.5, so that would make sense to have him still in the squad. Palmer also makes all the sense in the world. Fulham at home should be one of his best games to start the season as well. So you would potentially want to have him in the squad. There is an alternative that I'll show you as well. Cucurella is also a really good 6.0 defender. He might be my 6.0 defender as well. I am going to take more of a deep dive into the 6.0 defenders because there are so many good alternatives, and I don't really know how to differentiate them at this moment in time. But yeah, 3 Chelsea players still in this draft. You don't have to do that, but that's not the main part of why you're free hitting in Game Week 3, because you can have these Chelsea players already. You can also have Kelleher already because he's a pretty popular pick to have. But where the interesting part comes in is the Man United players and the Newcastle players, because looking at this on paper, Lewis Hall, absolutely fantastic last season, playing his Leeds away. That's a great fixture. Gordon, Leeds away. He was also fantastic last season. Could even be Elanga if he starts off really well for Newcastle. He seems nailed in the team over Murphy. He could also be a really good option for 0.5 less than Gordon as well. He's also a really good option. But then Isak against Leeds, that's also fantastic captaincy option. You can captain potentially, if you're free hitting Game Week 3 and you have Saka before Game Week 3 as well, you can captain Saka against Leeds at home in Game Week 2 and Isak against Leeds away in Game Week 3. I think that looks really, really good. Then you have Watkins, who I think is just a good player overall. But I think Rodgers is my preferred player for like the long term because he's 2 million cheaper, and I think the point differential between them is not going to be too high really across the season. So for one game week, I would want Watkins. For the entirety of the season, I would want Rodgers. So that means that Watkins is a better pick for one singular game week for a free hit than the long term. But I think he is actually a really viable long term pick as well. I might actually go with Rodgers and Watkins myself for my own squad, but most likely I'm going to go with Rodgers, I think. But yeah, as you can see, I have some other alternatives there. Ian Matson, who is also someone that is interesting. You don't want to start the season with him because you don't know if he's going to be the starting left back or not. There are some indications that he might be because Digne is sort of rumored out. We've also seen in the past Unai Emery has taken some time to put his players into his team. Basically, he needs to give them a grace period of a season before he starts trusting them, and that could be the case with Matson as well. And he would be a fantastic pick because he's so offensive, he's so good, and plays for Aston Villa, which is a really good team. So I think he's a really good option. Also, I didn't even mention the Man United players yet. We have Man United players that they actually exist. They are really expensive, but again, free hit, you don't really have to worry about costs. As you see, this team, which is looking really damn good, is still not worth 100 million. You still have money to spare. Even if someone goes up in price, you would still be able to afford this squad, I think, if my logic is correct there. But yeah, you have Bruno Fernandes, you have Cunha, you even have Mbeumo as another alternative as well, who you could choose for your Man United midfielder. But yeah, 2 Man United midfielders against Burnley at home, one of the best fixtures there is as well. I think that sounds really good. Dorgu, really attacking fullback who plays against Burnley at home as well, obviously. He's also really good. Maybe you don't trust the Man United defense, but I think Dorgu could be really good, especially if he gets playing time. It could be Diogo Dalot as well for the same price, 4.5. So overall, I think this team looks really damn good. There's also another option, as you can see, who is also pretty enticing in Erling Haaland. Again, going back to the fixture ticker here, Manchester City have like okay fixtures, like they're decent before and after, but they're not ideal. I don't think Haaland and 14.0 is worth it for the long term, but for the short term, he could definitely be worth it, and he is someone that I would potentially look to bring in for my gameweek3 free hit draft as well. So let's take a look at the Haaland alternative and see how that plays out as well, because we have some other really good players that we can use in the lineup. So yeah, here we have the Haaland lineup. Haaland gets in ahead of Watkins. We downgrade from Palmer to Rodgers. I get most of the money there. We also downgrade from Fernandes to Mbeumo and get even more money there. And we have enough for Haaland in the squad, basically, with the same squad that we had previously. We also have the alternative of having Johan Wissa rather than João Pedro, especially if João Pedro looks a bit iffy to start. If Wissa looks likely to play this match for Brentford, because we don't really know about his transfer dealings and stuff, if he's going to move clubs, he's also a really good option. And we have some other really nice options as alternatives as well. You have Chris Wood from Nottingham Forest playing at home against West Ham. He could be a really good pick. Marmoush at this point in Game Week 3. Again, we have 2 game weeks worth of data here. We'll know if Marmoush is ready to play or not, basically. We also have Kevin Schade from Brentford playing in Sunderland away. Really good fixture if you want to go with him rather than Rodgers. I totally get that because he could be really good, and I think he could step up a level as well without Mbeumo in the squad. He might be a really nice player, and that's why I feel I've priced him at 7.0, which is a pretty high price, and which is a big reason why people are not really considering Schade. But I think he could be really good. Coyote as well, the fullback for Brentford, he could also be really good. It remains to be seen how good Brentford will be without Mbeumo and with a new manager and all that. We don't really know. But if they're looking good, Coyote could be a really nice pick to have this game week as well. We also have Ula Aina, for example, or Mats Sels if you have that extra 0.5 in the bank somehow. So yeah, there are a lot of good options. So all in all, I think the free hit in Game Week 3 draft is looking pretty damn good. Whether you want to go with this Haaland edition or the other more like Chelsea cover edition of the free hits in Game Week 3, I think it looks very, very good. And I think the biggest benefit is the fact that you can pick players that have bad fixtures in Game Week 3. Like the Arsenal players, like I mentioned, you can go for them. Fulham have really bad fixture in Game Week 3. You can go for Anderson in defense, which I am going to do because he has really good fixtures before and after as well. Like you can do a little bit of a different squad and have a really nice differential squad. I think it's going to be an interesting season. I think going a bit differential is going to be potentially a good thing this season, because we're trying to work out what's going to work, what's not going to work in terms of both strategy and in terms of the new rules that will affect how many points people get. So yeah, I don't really mind going with a bit of a different team and having a really nice tactic that will accommodate both Game Week 3 and the game weeks before and after in a really nice way. So yeah, I think you should just consider Game Week 3 as a free hit option. I think a lot of people will do once we get to Game Week 3, but if you consider it beforehand, you can actually prepare for free hitting in Game Week 3 and having a really good squad before and after as well. So yeah, I think that's the point of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I went through it pretty fast. I thought this was going to be a long video because I prepared for a really long time, but I guess that made me more prepared and made me more succinctly wrap up my points basically for this video. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a like or subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to make more and more videos as the summer goes along and as we get closer and closer to the FPL season. And once the FPL season kicks into gear, I'll have a lot of videos for you as well at that point. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.